The most terrifying creatures in nature aren't the ones with giant teeth or massive claws. They're the ones you can't even see. Go microscopic and the world you thought you knew disappears, replaced by a brutal landscape of invisible organisms that control ecosystems, rewrite genes, hijack brains, and kill with an unimaginable alien precision. These things have grown so specialized that they end up looking like anything but what life is supposed to look like. Some gain the ability to dissolve tissue on contact. Some intentionally gave up complex bodies to become single-celled killing machines. And some just started building living syringes to inject their enemies with poison. Because I guess anything goes when you're this small. Why did these organisms give up size and strength just to replace them with these nightmare adaptations? And what's actually causing life to become so bizarre the smaller you get? If you saw our previous videos, you already know biology can have some nasty effects on organisms. But how does this affect the microscopic world? Today, we shrink down into the hidden kingdom of the tiny terrors that rule life from the shadows. The smaller life gets, the creepier it becomes. First, we have to look at the organisms that aren't complex, like this one. This is Naegleria fowleri, the brain-eating amoeba. And as you might have guessed by its name, it's basically the opposite of friendly. This single-celled monster is found in warm, freshwater lakes and rivers. The fact that it's just one cell is the exact reason why it's so heinously terrifying. It doesn't need a plan, it just needs an opportunity. When contaminated water goes up someone's nose, the amoeba latches onto the olfactory nerve and travels directly into the brain. It never enters through the mouth, only the nose. Once inside, it releases enzymes that literally dissolve brain tissue, feeding on the liquefied cells. For a single-celled organism, its method is brutally efficient. It hunts, moves, and consumes with a single-minded purpose that requires zero intelligence. Infections are incredibly rare, but when they happen, they are almost always fatal, causing death in just a matter of days. It's proof that you don't need a brain to be a horrifying predator. You just need to be good at what you do. But not all microscopic killers are single-celled. Some are just incredibly efficient bacteria. We're talking about necrotizing fasciitis, more commonly known as flesh-eating bacteria. These bacteria, like certain strains of Streptococcus, can get into the body through a tiny cut or scrape. Once inside, they release a cocktail of toxins that is just catastrophic. These toxins do two things. First, they destroy tissue at an insane rate, liquefying fat and muscle faster than doctors can surgically remove it. Second, they create a smokescreen that hides the bacteria from your immune system, allowing them to spread unchecked. This isn't some random accident. Evolution has shaped these microbes to be masters of destruction. Their goal is simple: reproduce and spread. And the fastest way to do that is to turn their host into a nutrient soup. It's a terrifying example of how evolution, under the right pressure, can produce something that is tiny but apocalyptically destructive. Now, if you thought bacteria were the worst, wait until you see what hunts them. Dive into the world of bacteriophages or phages, and you'll find viruses that look like they were designed by aliens. These things are living machines. They have geometric polyhedral heads packed with viral DNA, a slender body that acts like a syringe, and 6 spindly legs that they use to grab onto their prey. Bacteria. When a phage finds a target, it lands on the bacterial cell wall, locks on, and injects its genetic material straight inside. That DNA then hijacks the bacterium's own cellular machinery, forcing it to stop everything and just start building more phages. Within minutes, hundreds of new viruses are assembled, until the pressure becomes too much and the bacterium bursts open, releasing a fresh army of microscopic hunters. There are trillions upon trillions of phages inside your body right now, waging a constant invisible war, killing trillions of bacteria every single day. They are, without a doubt, the most numerous and deadly predators on Earth. So if microbes are so dangerous, is anything out there tough enough to survive them? The answer is yes, and it's almost cute. Until you get a closer look. Meet the tardigrade or water bear. These 8-legged microscopic invertebrates are small, slow, and a little chubby. But zoom in and you'll see they're built for survival. They have thick claws for gripping, a mouth ringed with sharp stylets for piercing their food, and a body covered in armored plates. Their real superpower, though, is their ability to survive literally anything. They can withstand the vacuum of space, crushing deep sea pressure, lethal doses of radiation, and temperatures from near absolute zero to well above boiling. To do this, they enter a state called cryptobiosis, where they suspend all metabolic processes and essentially pause life at the very edge of death. Their bodies dehydrate, they retract their legs, and they become a tiny, indestructible particle called a ton. They are by far the toughest organisms ever discovered. But the world of tiny terrors isn't just about killing, it's also about control. Some of the most horrifying microscopic creatures don't kill you directly. Instead, they turn you into a puppet. We're talking about the larval stages of parasitic worms. Take the hairworm. As a larva, it infects an insect like a cricket. Inside, it grows until it's ready to move to its next life stage, which has to happen in water. The problem? Crickets don't swim, so the worm releases chemicals that hijack the cricket's brain, overriding its survival instincts and compelling it to seek out water and drown itself. Once submerged, the adult worm emerges, leaving its host corpse behind. Then there's the liver fluke, which forces ants to climb to the top of a blade of grass and clamp their jaws shut, waiting to be eaten by a grazing animal. In both cases, the microscopic larval stage completely rewrites the host's behavior. It's a chilling reminder that you don't need a large body to have massive control. The crazy part is, these microscopic battles aren't just happening out there in nature. They're happening inside you right now. Your body is a constant raging battlefield. Trillions of bacteria, viruses, fungi, and other microorganisms are fighting for space and resources on your skin, in your gut, and everywhere in between. Your immune cells are in a perpetual war, identifying and destroying invaders. These unseen wars have a massive influence on your life, affecting your mood, your digestion, and your ability to fight off disease. The balance of power between these tiny armies can mean the difference between health and sickness. It's a humbling realization. You are not one organism. You are an ecosystem, a walking planet for countless tiny life forms, all locked in a struggle for survival. The battlefield isn't just in your gut. It's inside your very cells, embedded in your DNA. Your genome is littered with the ghosts of ancient viruses. Pieces of DNA known as jumping genes or transposons. These are genetic parasites. They exist for one reason only: to copy themselves and paste those copies into new locations in your DNA. They offer absolutely no benefit to you. In fact, if one of these selfish genes happens to jump into the middle of an important instruction, it can rewrite the code and cause genetic diseases like cancer. These tiny terrors have been hiding inside our species' genetic code for millions of years, a permanent reminder that even our own biology contains microscopic threats. When you get down to the truly smallest scale of life, biology stops looking like biology and starts looking engineered. Inside every one of your cells are molecular machines, complex protein structures that operate like tiny robots. There are motors like kinesin that walk along cellular highways, carrying cargo. There are gears and rotary engines like ATP synthase that spin thousands of times a minute to generate energy. There are conveyor belts and quality control inspectors that build and check every protein your body makes. These machines are all built from molecules, but they move with a mechanical purpose that seems almost designed. They run your entire body every second of every day without you ever being aware of it. It is at this smallest scale that the familiar rules of biology break down and life becomes truly alien. In the end, we spend so much time fearing the big monsters, the sharks, the lions, the things that go bump in the night, but the real nightmares have always been microscopic. The tiny terrors run the world. They shape ecosystems from the bottom up. They control the bodies of larger creatures, and they are the ultimate deciders of who lives and who dies. From the brain-eating amoeba to the parasitic DNA in our own cells, the world of the small is a universe of brutal efficiency and horrifying adaptations. The closer you look, the more terrifying life becomes. If you've enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, leave a comment and subscribe to our channel. Thank you for watching.